my fellow cicadas, how are you doing today? Thank you so much for watching. So excited to do this episode. This is our second to last episode of the season. The final episode is next week. Can't wait. A lot of action-packed scenes this episode and can't wait to talk about it. So before we get started, I want to make sure that all of you have watched the episode first. So if you haven't seen it yet, hit that pause button, make sure you watch the episode, and then come back and take a look at this video so that we can talk about it together. All right, before we get started, I want to make sure I address the comment that was made in one of my videos, and I want to thank also Loudy. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, but I want to thank you for taking the time to give me your feedback. I really appreciate any feedback anyone gives me, so I can make sure that the videos are to your liking and make sure I can be a better content creator for everyone going forward. So taking your advice, Lottie, I'm going to give you guys the top topics that I think that we should be talking about in this episode, changing a little bit up from our previous episodes so that way we can get through the videos a little bit faster and it's not being so dragged out, but at the same time so we get to talk those key points that I think are significant in this particular episode we just watched. So there was a lot of things in the episode that I really liked, and at the same time left me wondering and puzzled as to what's going to happen in the following episode. So, you know, we get into one part of the episode where we see Doug, and he's doing all his undercover work as being the assassin for this other cicada named Vincent, and he's trying to do his thing by infiltrating it and running missions and things of that sort. We find out in this one that pills can block the signal to the assassination kills, and they can make more of a freedom of will. So as long as he's taking these pills, can stop any impulses to kill any target that he sees on this photo with a circle and 3 little lines, which is the trigger for any assassination kill going forward. It's interesting how they bring that into play, because obviously if you can control your habit of killing someone, or the trigger to kill someone, you're more of a deadly assassin going forward. So in Doug's case, since he's going to go on a trip to Colombia, he's basically going to this location and being followed, and it seems like that during the episode that he's being followed and under surveillance to see if he actually is going to kill his target. And by doing this, Doug is trying to figure out what kind of person he wants to be as this undercover cicada, whether he's going to follow through with the mission, or is he going to go and control the urges and save this guy from being killed from any other cicada going forward. Which then leads me to believe that this Treadstone that's activated now, or this new Treadstone, is more of like a contract killing. At least that's what I'm thinking, because the character or the target that Doug is trying to go after has nothing to do with anything as of yet that could be related to the storyline with Stiletto 6 and Yuri and the Colonel. So I think that this is now a new expansion or new part of leading to season 2, and how it's going to explain how these cicadas are finding their targets and what they're being used for in the whole grand scheme of things. Now that we're moving along with Petra and John, we can see that John is now starting to trust Petra a little bit more. He feels a little bit more comfortable with her and trusts her a little bit more, in the sense that he's able to follow along with any idea that she gives. And the idea in this case is he's trying to save Matheson, who was the guy he tortured when he was under the cicada control, to find out where he's at and then get him and rest tortured any further. So their big grand scheme of thing was just so they can go underneath. He had to play the role of like he was still under that mind control of being a cicada, and because he's being that, he has to play along with a lot of the details. When you see Yuri and Petra kind of like making out, almost to the point where they're gonna have some type of intimate moment and things of that sort. So, and it's cool that we can see that the cicada John is able to control himself when it comes to these things, and his emotions not coming into play. He's able to stay on the mission, which is rescue Matheson. He doesn't realize that right afterwards, that once he finds Matheson, that Matheson's under the brainwashing torture skills and is himself a cicada himself. So once he's able to really talk to Matheson and break through the walls of Matheson's mind, he's able to rescue him. But he still is wondering, is this part of his training, or is this also a different type of aspect? Like, he's still trying to figure it out, because towards the end of that scene we see him confront the doctor, who basically tortures him and trains him to be a cicada, but he doesn't know if he should believe everything that's coming out of his mouth. He's almost telling him, or the doctor's almost telling him, you need to follow through with your mission. But John feels like he's correct, that he does need to follow the mission, but he doesn't know what the mission is. So it's almost like he's trying to remember something but can't do it. So I thought it was kind of cool how they adding that little part in. I still would love to know who John is in the future, obviously in present time. I really think it's going to be that guy who was brainwashed and Petra was living with in Russia and things of that sort. So I'm really strongly hoping that that's the case, and my theory is going to come through next week, and we'll find out more about it going forward. So we leave off with Tara meeting older Petra in the last episode, and she's trying to talk to her about finding out what Stiletto 6 is. Petra is wondering, why is this person here, pulling out a gun on Tara and basically saying, either confess to me why you're doing this, or basically I'm gonna kill you. And obviously, as we know the storyline, Tara has really just been destroyed over Stiletto 6 and knowing where Stiletto 6 is and everything around Stiletto 6. So she is mentally driven to find out if Stiletto 6 is real, and also is it going to be used for harm, and how can she stop it. So it's really cool how they were able to bring the two characters together, and they were able to find out. And there's more information about that, and I'm going to get to that in a second, because this big part is the one I've been waiting for, to find out if this boss from the last episode, guy, bald head, the secret boss, he's one of the guys who is running Treadstone, the new Treadstone. And this episode locked it in that answer. So he is the one who's organizing the new Treadstone, and Helen finds out all about it. She gets all the information and finds out that this secret boss has actually been blackmailing Ellen to participate in this event, because she finds out and she says, I don't want to know part of it, because she knows what Treadstone's all about. And since she can't get out of it because she's in so deep, she's basically being asked to run this organization, or this mission, to control the situation, because it all gets out of whack because of the fact that this secret boss did not know. And just like we saw in the last episode with the senator, they did not know that Yuri and the colonel were actually talking about nuclear warheads or anything like that. So they're getting scared, and they need Ellen's help to resolve the situation. So she mans up, and she's then ready to go with the whole cicada and Treadstone aspect behind it, which I thought was really awesome for the character to be now evolving into something else. I really like the fact that she's being given more responsibility. We're probably going to see her in future episodes, obviously next episode with the season finale, but I'm sure once the season 2 comes out, we're going to see her in a lot more, because she's the one organizing the whole event. And we see the location of where all these assets are at, all the cicadas around the world, where they're located and how they're going to be activated and things of that sort. So it's going to be a great season 2, I think, once we get more information of how episode 10 ends, so that we could see if that theory of mine is going to prove through. Now, during this time frame, we see that the secret boss makes a kind of a deal with our Korean assassin. Since last episode, she went into the Korean embassy and makes a deal to kill the colonel, so that she can get amnesty or asylum to the United States with her husband and son, because of the fact that she knows that her husband's going to be betrayed and take the blame for setting off a nuclear warhead, which is obviously not his fault. So I think this is going to be an interesting closing to episode 10 in the season, because of the fact we're going to see that she's going to go probably ape shit, killing this colonel to get her that deal to get into the United States. But at the end of the whole thing, which left my jaw basically dropping, and I was so mind blown that this happened, when we see Ellen basically talking about how we need to kill Yuri, and Yuri needs to die because he's the one who's going to set this whole thing into motion and basically cause more of a war throughout the countries in the Asian region. Once Ellen says, okay, we have an asset in Russia. I didn't even think that this person would be activated. But we find out that actually Tara is a cicada herself. She gets the code and sees who's her target on her phone. And we know now she has the skills to kick some ass when she needs to. And I was mind blown when this happened. I could not believe it. And I'm so happy that this is happening because of the fact that this character and the actress is such a great actress, and as well as a character. And I think expanding that to the next season as well as season finale is going to be such a great aspect for the show. I think it's going to bring more characters involved, and with the closing, I think with John, because how much more can you really show about 1973 John with older Petra, or younger Petra I should say. It's going to be more fuel to the fire for season 2 to come out and give us more storyline with more multiple characters. So I really can't wait for this to happen. I also can't wait to see how Petra and Tara interact with each other. Now that Tara is at Cicada again, Petra is the one who basically developed or helped develop the Cicada program. I really can't wait to see how they interact with each other. In the preview we didn't see much, but I'm really curious to see if Petra's going to go along and help her out, or if she's going to do something else entirely, or is she just going to kill the girl after she finds out a little bit more information, because the trailer shows that she is talking to Tara after she finds out. So I'm really curious to see how this goes. Now, thinking back on Tara and how she is the new cicada of the season, I really think that Sebastian is one of her handlers. For some reason, I was saying in the last episode that Sebastian, I think, is either doing something wrong or is against her or something to that effect. And just like how Sam was with Doug, I think Sebastian is doing the same thing with Tara in some shape, way, or form. And I really think that that's going to be a new storyline going forward for Tara and Sebastian, to find out that they were once being trained to be assassins and things of that sort. So I really hope that that's the case, because that would be a really cool storyline, and obviously that would be kind of interesting. A little bit boring at times just because of the fact it's happened to Doug, so shit, it's gonna happen again with her. So I don't know, we'll see how that goes. So in closing, we see a little bit of the preview of Matt basically being hunted. I'm sure he's in Amsterdam meeting up with his contact, because we see that in the episode. But I also, in the trailer, I also see a little bit of a struggle with him and some other person. Now, based on the stature of this person and the way they look with the jacket and things of that sort, I really think Jacob is alive. The cicada that he was with the entire time is alive and is there to kill him, because we never see his body. We only hear that in the last episode that he got shot, but we never see his body. And the way that I understand filming and movie business is, if you don't see a body killed, they're not dead. So anything's fair game. It can come back to anywhere. So I really think that Jacob is alive, and that would be kind of cool, because I never wanted to see him leave, but I wanted to make sure that, you know, I had talk about this, because I think that's a really good prediction of what's going to happen next episode, and we're going to find out next week. Alright guys, well, thank you so much. That's all I have for today. Really appreciate you taking the time to watch the episode. I hope that the new way of me presenting the review is a little bit better. Hopefully it's something that I could continue doing forward more, and if there's something more I can tweak on, please let me know. I'd love to hear about it and make sure that I can bring you the best content I could possibly give you guys. So thanks again for watching. Please hit that like and subscribe button below, and stay tuned for any new episodes. Have a nice one. See ya.